Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever one applies to you. I hope that you are doing well. If you are new to the channel, this is your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button. My channel is all about the tips and the tricks to help you out along your reselling journey. Okay, this video here is going to be the first part of a series that I'm doing on understanding your eBay fees. Okay, there's so many different fees, and you want to know and understand what each of them are and how much you're being charged by eBay, because there may be a way for you to reduce those, and there's possibly a way they can charge you more. Okay, so we want to be aware of those, and we want to have a very good understanding. So I figured today we would start with the insertion fee. Okay, I made a presentation. Like I said, this is going to be the first of several different videos that I'm going to be featuring talking about the eBay fees. Now, the insertion fees occur whenever you list an item. Okay, so that's when it occurs. It occurs as soon as you actually list the item. Okay, and let's go ahead and move on in our presentation. So now the amount that you're going to be charged depends on several different things. Okay, so number one, it depends on the price of the item. Okay, because for like regular categories, we'll look at the prices here in a bit. For regular categories, I think the average is like 35 cents. But if you're selling the business industrial, if you're selling in some of the heavier equipment type items in the fee is going to be a little bit more. So for instance, like the business industrial one, I think it's like $20, just because the items usually are higher in value. Okay. And then another one is the category. Okay. So are you selling in clothes and fashion? Are you selling in motorcycles? You know what I mean? Like, so all that is going to be taken into consideration as well. Are you selling shoes? Because right now, if you're selling shoes and they're over $100, then you don't even have to pay a insertion fee. So it just kind of depends on the category in which you sell in. And eBay will use that as a tactic. Like if they see one category that maybe isn't doing as well, they'll try to funnel more people into that category by offering very attractive fees or low cost for the fees. And then any optional listing upgrades. I never really deal with the optional listing upgrade, so I haven't really found too many circumstances where it's been applicable for me. And then this is a big one: seller performance and conduct. Okay, if you aren't performing very well on the platform, eBay has the right, and they often do, penalize you. Okay, so if you aren't getting your items out on time, if you fall below, the seller performance level, like if you're below standard, then they're going to assess a penalty on you, and you're going to have to pay more fees. Like that's normally how it works on these platforms. They try to keep you, I guess, restricted and keep you in line by charging you fees whenever you get outside of those. So you want to make sure that your performance and your conduct is good on there, because if you don't, you end up paying more. So it just makes sense to do things right, and to perform very well on the platform. Okay, so next let's talk about the allowance that is available for all sellers. Okay, now the amount of those allowances are going to depend. Okay, so like I said, if you're selling, you're going to get a certain amount, and it's up to 250. But if you have a store subscription, you're going to have more of those insertion fee allowances depending on the package that you have. And as you see here, you got the starter, you get 250, and then after that is 30 cents. Okay, basic 250. Oh, sorry about that. It's 1,000. Okay, and then 25 cents, 1,000 up to 10,000. Okay, and then premium, it's 10,000. Okay, no, I'm sorry, I had that backwards. So it was 1,000 for the basic. Okay, and then 25 cents, and then premium 10,000, and then 10 cents, which is the one that I have. That's why I have that arrow, because this is the one that I use. Because most people, I mean, really, I would say most people are probably in this range in the basic. When you're in this premium, I mean, you're starting to get closer to having like a big business. And so You can see for those bigger businesses, they'll have about 25K, and it makes all the difference because these numbers add up quickly. And this is a change that eBay recently made where they increased these allowances because it didn't used to be like that. And, I probably had like maybe 1,000 items in my store at most. And when you talk about getting an insertion fee charged 10 cents every time, like it adds up quickly. So this is something that I'm very, very happy about that they did. And it just makes it a lot more affordable for us as sellers. Okay, but you can see the breakdown here. Let me know in the comments section below which one you fall into. Are you starter, you basic, premium, anchor, enterprise? Which one? Okay, and so as we progress a little bit, we need to understand something about the insertion fees. Okay, once you've used up your allowance, okay, you have to understand that the insertion fee is non-refundable. I'm going to cover this a little bit more in depth in either the next slide or the slide after that, but you don't get that back, okay? And then it's charged per listing and per category, okay? So each time you do a listing, it's going to charge you an insertion fee. If you do a listing and you put multiple categories, it's going to charge you an insertion fee for each category that you list in, okay? You got to keep that in mind. You may sell your item faster, but you're also going to have to pay another fee. And then it's charged for the original listing and each time it's relisted, okay? So you got to understand that. So even if you relist it, again, we'll cover this a little bit more in depth, but each time you relist it, you're going to be charged a fee, okay? And then for duplicate auction style listings, so some people, when they're doing their auctions, they'll do, some identical listings. Well, it's going to charge you an insertion fee for each one of those, okay? And then something you also have to understand, I want to spend a little bit of time on this, or not on this one, sorry, but we will deal with just kind of like the credit that you get with insertion fees. But this one, you get a credit for your auction listings that end in a sale. Okay, so if you have a store, with the exception of the starter, like you have an opportunity to get your insertion fee credited if you make the sale. Okay, that's the key. You got to make the sale though. Okay, now, so I told you how they were non-refundable. There is a way to get a credit, to get a refund for those insertion fee credits, right? Because I've had the question, okay, hey, what about if somebody agrees to buy my product, right? And they never pay for it. Well, I just lost some money there. Okay. Well, let's look at this a little bit more in depth. So you can qualify for insertion fee credits, okay, if your item sells after it's been relisted. So like, for instance, what I was just talking about, they agreed to purchase it, they didn't buy it or they didn't pay. So I relisted. Okay. I relisted and it sells in 2 days. Well, now I'm checking off one of those boxes to be able to get a credit. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. That listing has to be in the original format. Okay. So however it was presented beforehand, that is the exact condition, that is the exact presentation that has to be shown to the buyer. You can't have made any other changes. Okay. Now, here's something else, and this is important because a lot of times people like to use the sell similar tool. You won't get a credit back if you do that. So you need to go ahead and just use the relisting tool that eBay has on there. Okay, very, very simple. It's going to literally relist that exact same item. Okay, it's not going to be any different. When you sell similar, it's a whole different item essentially. Even though like the listing is the same, eBay counts that as a whole different item. So you have to take that into consideration. Okay. And then it has to be the first manual relisting of your item. You can't have relisted it multiple times already, like by your own doing. Okay. It has to be the original. Okay. And then the starting price must not be higher. So for that item, I couldn't go in there and like jack up the price again, go from $20 to $25. The price has to be the price has to be at that same price, or it can be lower, because it didn't say anything about it not being lower. Okay, but it just can't be higher. And then for auctions, you cannot have a reserve price. Okay, and I hope this is making sense for you guys. If you have any questions, just shoot those in the comments and I'll be happy to answer those for you. All right, guys. So that is going to conclude this one. If you guys have any questions, like I mentioned before, just shoot those in the comments. I always enjoy interacting with you guys, getting to know you, see what you sell, and just trying to build a community around reselling and entrepreneurship, and really just trying to make the most of what we've been given here on the internet, and just trying to be the best for our families. And I applaud you guys for making money online. I just think that's really, really cool. But again, if you haven't subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button. Appreciate you for being here, and I can't wait to connect with you in the next video. Keep in mind that I'm doing a series on the eBay fees, and so you don't want to miss out. Okay, share this video. See you later, guys.